Hello, and welcome once again to another online content video for my music humanities class. I'm Brad. Today we're going to be talking about the late Renaissance and one composer in particular, Giovannini Pierluigi da Palestrina, or more commonly known as just Palestrina. He lived, again, late Renaissance, 1526 to 1594. And let me bring up the timeline to kind of show you where we are right now. So again, here's the Renaissance, 1400 to 1600. He was kind of active right in there, right after the heyday of Josquin, where polyphony just went berserk. And it was just, every composer just was in love with this stuff. And they were polyphoning right and left. Anyhow, Palestrina is known as the composer who saved polyphony. Here's the story. There was a pope, Pope Marcellus, okay? And let me just say Pope, okay? And they have this thing called the Council of Trent, where the Pope and the cardinals get together and discuss things about the church. And a big concern, this is kind of like, how you're reacting to the Reformation and, all this stuff that's happening, was the fact that they didn't think that the music was doing a good service for the liturgy. Basically, they thought all this polyphonic stuff was confusing the texts. People weren't able to hear the words. And let me give you an example of that. Actually, let me tell you a little bit more about what Palestrina did. He was actually had a very high position. He was obviously a great musician. He basically grew up around Rome. He didn't have to emigrate like any of the others that we've been talking about, like Josquin or others. And he became the Kapellmeister, or the choir master of St. Peter's. This is a pretty major position. And the Pope said, Palestrina, we're sick and tired. We need that old-timey chants again. None of this composer nonsense anymore. And Palestrina went, and he said to the Pope, I will write you a mass that will be densely polyphonic, but I guarantee that you're going to be able to hear the words. All right? And the technique that he employed, again, this is dense polyphony, but it's a particular form of it called homophony. Now, that's different from monophony, which is the chant. Homophony is basically you take all the polyphonic lines, but you have them kind of move together. So it's almost like block chords. And this is a way that that they were able to kind of see their way through to still including very dense polyphony, but creating something that was fairly transparent. And I'm going to play you some examples of, how homophony differs from the standard imitative polyphony that Josquin had put out. In fact, I'm going to play a piece by Josquin. This is the Stabat Mater Dolorosa, or the Sorrowful Mother Who Was Standing. This is based on, Mother Mary being at the cross and seeing her child Christ up on the cross. So this is the Josquin version of the Stabat Mater. So, it's glorious music, but, maybe the Pope had a point. After a while, you just get lost in a lot of the consonants, pss, 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 and the different polyphonic lines aren't matching up. They eventually do, and Josquin was a master at, kind of creating this sort of textual, projection. But now listen to the difference. This is Palestrina's version of the Stabat Mater. hate to fade that down. I love that piece. Palestrina just wrote glorious, wonderful, amazing music. Almost all his music was church. He didn't do a lot of the kind of the Malatesta and Sforza Medici stuff that the other composers are doing because he had a great job. And the music is just spectacular. So let me finish. This will be a short one. I'm going to finish by actually playing you this Missa Papa Marcelli, or the Pope Marcellus Mass that Palestrina wrote. It actually has 8 voices. We talked about voices last time. 8-voice polyphony. But because of this homophony, it's rather transparent. Now, it's not as directly homophonic as the Stabat Mater that I just played, but you'll still be able to hear that despite, an immense number of voices, and composerly skill, that you're able to get a sense of what the words are. So here we go. So you can hear even the imitative polyphony. He's using that and he's showing it, but at the same time, it's not like Josquin's really dense polyphony. And the Pope was convinced. He said, Joel, that's great stuff, and you named it after me, so I'm so happy, because this is now known as the Papa Marcellus Mass. And polyphony was saved, and Western music continued to evolve.